it can be done. You bring logic, you bring things that other people say, you look at your reality result, you look at your experience, you look at what other people say, news, and you use your reasoning exactly to tell me why it can't be done. And the worst part is you have a really solid reason, which I call the excuse. You have a really good one. That's one. The second one is imagination. You use your imagination to start predicting the future and start imagining the future, how it's not going to work for you. And that happens all the time. I see people that say, oh, I don't know about future. What about the future?
We can't control the future.
We can't control the future. And I tell them, hey, you need to stop. Or they use wrong sense of expectation for future, like when they want to do something or go somewhere or start something, they start having these negative ideas about how it's going to be, and they don't know that they're feeding energy into it, and they're creating more of what they don't want, and they see it and they're like, see, I was right. And I'm saying I agree with you, because that's what you created. That's what you expected. And whatever you're expecting, that's what you're going to see. Every one of us are automatic, our default, based off of our information, our subconscious, we have assumptions, we have expectations. And these expectations and assumptions are very, very accurate. And think about today, that's your starting point. Think about it. What are your expectation assumptions of you and where you want to go? And what are the possibilities? That's what exactly you're going to see in your reality in the future. Unless, like we talked earlier, you make a decision and say, nope, that's not what I want. When you start making decision, when you understand the power that you have. Otherwise, you're not.
You're not going to choose.
You're not going to choose. You're not going to decide.
Majority of the people don't choose. They don't live on purpose. They live according to circumstances. Mm-hmm. And if you never choose where you're going, the circumstances are going to control your behavior. They're going to control your life, and you're never going to bring into existence the things that you truly desire. Everything you're going to find is always you'll be a victim. The victim mentality, victim mindset. And you always think that things are happening to you. But when you take responsibility and you understand that word responsibility, responsibility gives you your power back. Responsibility moves you back into the creative imagination. If I tell you, you've got to be responsible from here forward, I don't care what's happened in the past, you've got to be responsible from here forward, then you're going to start to take responsibility. Taking responsibility means you're going to start to decide. You're going to start to choose how you're going to live. Now, if an individual chooses and they take responsibility on how they're going to live, guess what that does? This moves you into the higher faculties. This moves you to advanced thinking. We're going back to the gift again. The gift is creative imagination. When you take responsibility, you've got to go up. I've got to choose. I've got to think. I've got to take responsibility and start to use advanced thinking of what I desire and what I want. This advanced thinking method puts your thoughts and ideas and projections into the future. This is where you work from the upside down. This is where your ideas come from. Now, if you don't take responsibility, you don't visioneer, you don't do advanced thinking, you just stay in the same place you're at, you use the same ideas from the past to try to rearrange your circumstances. And guess what happens? This word we call failure, because you keep thinking from your past results. You think from your past behaviors. You think from the circumstances that you're living in. You did not do advanced thinking. You did not use your creative imagination. You did not build a vision, a new one. Therefore, the old frame of thought, the old way of being, the same frequency that you're on, ideas, stay more or less on track.
Yeah. And that's really, we really opened this up, what Abraham explaining, some of the individual, they might not be in our business matrix, but we really get in detail of how this works. What Abraham is saying is really what the image that we make, and the image that we have, the concept that we have of ourselves, it's created based off of our experience and based off of present results. And that's what's holding us back. I was talking to an individual, he was telling me, hey Taha, look at the amount of money that I make. Look at the job that I have. You know, this is the small town I came from. This is my education. This like very negative image of himself. And he was telling me, how do you expect me go and do this goal that he had and want to start his own business? How do you expect me to do that? I said, I'm not expecting you to do that. This is your expectation of you to change the image and understand that your reality and your experience, what you went through, is not your truth. Your truth is whoever you want to be, you can. All start changing ideas about you. I'm going to read a little bit off of the Abraham earlier mentioned intervention. If we don't intervene and start a new order, we're going to more or less create the life that our parents create the life that we think we can based off of our experience, and we call it luck, the luck that we have, unless we start intervening. You are free to choose the concept you will accept of yourself. Therefore, you possess the power of interventions, the power which enables you to alter the course of your future. So what does that mean? That means when you start changing the concept of who you are, again, what you want is important, but you got to change that. You got to be before you receive. When you start changing the concept of who you are, you're starting altering the course of the future. What does that mean? That means you start rearranging your reality in future, and you start going through sequence of events and start seeing what you want to see. You won't stop until you see what you see in your mind, you see it in your reality. The problem is people talk and they understand, they think they understand, they come in a little bit and they're like, okay, I got it, I'm going to hold the image. First or second obstacles that face, or third, that circumstance comes up or something about that doesn't make it easy for them, they forget about the image. And they forget about what was discussed and what they needed to be doing. You gotta keep going and keep holding the image until you see that in your reality.
Yep.
That's the only choice you have. Otherwise, you go back to conformity.
Yep. Go back to doing what you're doing.
I'm going to read this. The process of rising from your present concept to a higher concept of yourself is the means of all true progress. The higher concept is waiting for you to incarnate it in the world of experience. What does that mean to you guys? The higher concept is waiting for you to incarnate it in the world of experience. Anyone?
Say that one more time.
The higher concept is waiting for you to incarnate it in the world of experience.
It's pretty much saying that really your spirit is constantly seeking that growth. So that higher self of you, your higher self, there's a reason why you do, I feel like why you become unhappy, even if you attain a small goal, you're not happy with that anymore. You want still something else. There's always that spirit guiding us into a greater part of ourselves, that growth. It's always seeking that higher self.
Your result has to be always under construction. Always.
If it's under construction, that means it's under what?
It's always improving.
Yep.
It's always moving forward.
You're always working with images to improve the image itself. That means you've got to, everybody's, at one point or another, is going to have to take responsibility and take on the order of visualization. And if you don't, if there's no more vision, you go back to the old program. If the individual that did create a vision, let's say, let's do this physically. An individual starts a company, and he starts to build the company, work the company, and he just stops. What happens to the company?
It fails
Why?
because he's taking himself out of it and it's not self-sustaining.
Yep. Who's the one that had the vision?
The man.
Yep. But if he stops visioneering and he stops thinking in advance thinking of what he has to do next, and he just stops and waits, what happens? Disintegration.
Yeah.
The circumstances around him will pull him back in, suck him back in, and pull him back into what?
Yeah.
Go trade his time for money.
That's why it's important through this process to be happy but not satisfied, because dissatisfaction is creative state.
Keeps you visioneering.
Keep you going.
Keeps you responsible. Responsibility is always thinking in advanced thinking. We misuse our own abilities. We don't use visioneering. We only think of what we think we can do. We only think from the physical plane, and that's why you stay subject to the physical plane. I like playing up here. Why do I like playing up here? Because it's something entirely new. Right? There's no competition up there. When you go up to visioneering and visualizing and imagining, there's very few people that go up there. The reality of it, there's no competition at all because there's only one of you.
Yeah. And when you talk about that, just start thinking about the people that are very successful. I'm sure everyone knows someone. What you see, it shows how big their imagination is. If you see someone doing something really big, or doing something big for human advancement, you see product of imagination, what Abraham's talking about. You see that they're somewhere mentally that there's no limit.
Yeah. They're thinking from a completely different level of awareness. And they're bringing their vision to the light. That's the key. When you can understand this and you can think from your vision and work your vision till you see your vision, that's the key. If you don't have a vision and you're not working towards a vision, we're stuck. The ideas come when you start working into your vision. You become more aware. You said it earlier. Can you read that again?
Which part?
The last section.
The higher concept?
Yep, the higher concept.
The higher concept is waiting for you to incarnate it in the world of experience.
That means bring your vision down.
Yeah.
That means get your vision, build your vision, and then you're going to work your vision. Again, bring your vision, think your vision, work your vision up here, and you work it down here.
The problem is, most of the time when you talk about that, when we talk to a lot of people, when they start thinking about that vision, they start looking it down here instead of just focusing on that. They're like looking at the possibility whether it can be done or not. They haven't decided to do
They're
that.
going to do it.
You see? They start thinking about, and instead of deciding this is what I'm going to do, they think about it a little bit, but they start thinking about whether it can be done or not. That's a wrong way of thinking.
And immediately when they did that, they canceled out the vision. That vision is no longer in harmony with that.
Yeah.
The minute you go into doubt and worry, you lost it. So creativity is what? Intelligence, having fun.
Yeah.
Creativity is intelligence having fun. I've been playing for many years now. People are seeing the manifestation of what I've been playing with. A lot of people say, well, you can't control time. Look around. Look around. We're recording everything we're doing. We're also recording the advancements of others that are learning what we've learned. They're learning from us. We're recording their creativity and their advancement and how they've started to think stuff into form. You take the action activities that you see in your vision and you work them out. This is the experience that we were just talking about.
World of experience.
The world of experience. You've got to bring the vision down, and then you've got to work it out through you. And that's how you gain understanding. There is no failure, only understanding in the world of experience. As you got the experience in the world of understanding, your vision, I understand now. Now I know. Now I see. Right? And now you grew. If you don't take your vision, work your vision, experience your vision, you never understand the vision. Therefore, you never what? You see it in life. You get understanding when you practice your idea. You get understanding when you practice your vision. As you get the understanding, you grow. The goal is never to get, it's who you're becoming along the way. The understanding you receive. If you never want to grow, you never go do the thing, and you'll never learn how to do the thing, and you stay on plan. Andrew Carnegie said, any idea that is held in the mind that is emphasized, that is either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in its most convenient and appropriate form available. Richest man in the world. Spent half his life creating, the other half giving it away.
Any idea
Any idea.
that is held. That held, that's very important. That's the key. You know how many thoughts we have, or how many things that it comes in our mind for a couple of days or hour and it goes away? Because immediately we think, that's not possible, that's not for me. Or you get too busy, it can't be done. You know, when you start thinking about it, the way mind works is, whenever you start thinking about something, and before you start taking action, or you start seeing the possibility in your physics that you can have that, or you can achieve that, your mind will immediately scan, in a split second, scan from